Chapter 1. You are listening at FameTV.info. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. After Lin Yin finished talking on the phone, he walked over to Su Yuyu and said, "Yuyu, I have something urgent to attend to, so I have to leave right now. Let's postpone the wedding." Su Yuyu was dumbfounded by these words. She was standing outside the biggest banquet hall in Galan Hotel. In 10 minutes, their wedding ceremony would begin. However, at this moment, Lin Yin was telling her to postpone their wedding. When Su Yuyu finally regained her senses, the joy on her face vanished immediately, and her face turned pale. She tried to stay calm as she said, "Lin Yin, the wedding ceremony is about to start. Even if the matter is urgent, why don't you deal with it after the wedding?" Lin Yin glanced at the banquet hall behind Su Yuyu. When he shifted his dark eyes back to her, a hint of anxiety could be seen in his eyes as he said, "Yuyu, the matter is really urgent. It won't make a difference if we postpone the wedding to 2 days later." After Lin Yin finished speaking, he did not wait for Su Yuyu's reply before he turned to leave, clearly anxious. "Won't make a difference. How can there be no difference?" Su Yuyu instinctively grabbed Lin Yin's sleeve to stop him from leaving. She did not know what to do now. If he were to leave just like that, what would happen to the Su family's reputation? Finally, Su Yuyu stared at him with her bright eyes and asked, "What's more important than our wedding? Even if you want to postpone the wedding, you should at least give me a reason." Lin Yin hesitated as a troubled expression appeared on his face. After a few seconds of silence, he finally said, "Something happened to Bai Qingyu." Bai Qingyu. Upon hearing this name, a terrifying chill rose in her heart before it permeated her body and bones. Her hand that was holding on to Lin Yin's strength lost its strength as well. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Su Yuyu was not unfamiliar with the name Bai Qingyu. She had heard of it even when she was in the countryside. Lin Yin had a girlfriend while he was still studying at the university. In order to go abroad with his girlfriend, he had begged his parents to cancel his engagement to Su Yuyu. He was so desperate that he even ended up in the hospital. Later, for some unknown reason, his girlfriend went abroad, but he stayed in Imo City, seemingly ending their passionate relationship. That girlfriend was none other than Bai Qingyu. Su Yuyu thought that name would forever exist only in Lin Yin's past. Who knew it would come back to haunt her on her wedding day? She really did not expect he would ruin the ties between the Su family and the Lin family and abandon her on their wedding day for the sake of his ex-girlfriend. Seeing that Su Yuyu was silent, Lin Yin brushed her hand away and turned to walk toward the elevator. His footsteps were swift, and there was no hesitation on his part at all. Su Yuyu's eyes reddened immediately. She felt as though something was blocking her throat, and she felt extremely uncomfortable. As it turned out, Lin Yin had not forgotten Bai Qingyu. If that was the case, why did he agree to marry her? Was it just to fulfill the promise between the two families? Was that why he agreed to marry her when he clearly did not like her at all? It seemed like everything was just her wishful thinking. Just as Lin Yin was about to arrive in front of the elevator, Su Yuyu suddenly called out, "Lin Yin, read latest chapters at Wuxia World site." Only her eyes were brimming with tears, but she tried to prevent them from falling. Her red lips, which had been carefully painted, opened slightly. Then, she said, "The wedding is about to begin. Why don't you wait until the wedding is over before?" Lin Yin interjected impatiently, "Yuyu, there'd be no wedding today. Something happened to Qingyu, and she's alone overseas. I have to go to her." Lin Yin's dark and determined eyes reinforced his words. It seemed to say, "There's no way there'll be a wedding today now that something has happened to Qingyu." Su Yuyu's heart trembled, and the rest of her words were stuck in her throat. Seeing how anxious Lin Yin was to find Bai Qingyu, the last glimmer of hope in her eyes finally dimmed. Tears clung to her eyelashes, they had yet to fall. She had been wrong to this extent, and yet, she still could not get a shred of pity or guilt from him. After a few seconds of silence, just as Lin Yin was about to enter the elevator, he heard a clear voice say, "Let's break up." Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info. direct link in the description.